Hey guys, it's Rob, and welcome to RB&D Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Raven, which a lot of people are comparing to the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies, but to me, this kind of reminds me more of films like From Hell with Johnny Depp or the upcoming Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, where a famous person or a famous situation is put into a sort of fictionalized setting like this one. This time it's Edgar Allan Poe, and he's played by John Cusack.
Edgar Allan Poe. What may I attribute the honor of your call?
The night before last, the young girl and her mother were found murdered. The daughter's body was lodged in a chimney. The mother's head severed with a straight razor.
To one of my stories, a work of fiction.
I'm afraid I'm not.
The story is Poe is asked to assist in a police investigation when a murderer is using torture methods found in Poe's own short stories. For example, somebody is killed by a swinging pendulum, like in the short story, The Pit and the Pendulum. And later on, the murderer kidnaps Poe's girlfriend, Emily, and is forced to follow the clues that the murderer leaves behind for him. Now, The Raven, I thought, had a great atmosphere, and the look is set up wonderfully in the opening of the film, and the costumes and the props made me feel like I was in the late 1840s. But I really didn't feel any suspense or thrills except for the beginning of the movie, and the rest of the time I felt like I was just going along with Poe and Investigator Fields, who's assigned to the case, going with them from place to place, watching them solve the clues. And I also felt that after the while, the movie kind of became a little bit repetitive for me. You know, Poe and Fields go to a place where a murder has been committed, and Fields asks Poe if this is from one of his stories, and Poe gives his explanation. Occasionally we're taken out of the repetitiveness when we see Emily being held captive, and there's a good scene in a theater, and we also get some nice romantic moments between Poe and Emily. I really wish that the filmmakers had selected only a few of the crimes from the script before going before cameras, because I felt like they did wait a little bit too much, and it became repetitive. And the acting for me was also kind of a mixed bag. I really liked Cusack when he was subdued, but in some early scenes where he's in a tavern or he's yelling at his editor at the beginning of the movie, he came across to me as a little bit showy and a bit cartoonish. But I think Cusack really delivers some fine dark wit in the film very, very well, and he does show Poe as a tortured person. A lot of this, I don't know if it was me, but a lot of the supporting characters sounded gruff, like Christian Bale's Batman from The Dark Knight. Like, for example, take Inspector Fields. You know, to me, he just sounded bland, and he sounded like gruff sort of voice. Brendan Gleeson is Emily's father, is one of the wealthy citizens of Baltimore. He's really, really good in this movie. So the acting was a bit of a mixed bag for me. Overall, I really liked the idea of The Raven. I liked John Cusack's performance later on in the film. I liked the setting, and I liked trying to figure out who the murderer was, but I felt The Raven was just a missed opportunity. The movie, I thought, dragged at times, and I was hoping that there would be more suspense and more thrills. And I was wondering, I know a lot of, like I said, I know a lot of people are comparing it to the Sherlock Holmes movie, so I'm wondering whether somebody at the studio is like, we need a Sherlock Holmes-esque movie, let's go with this one. And another thing that I've been talking about in a lot of horror movies lately is whether it's necessary to show the horror killings taking place or whether to not show it at all. Because, for example, during the scene where one of the victims is being killed by a swinging pendulum, I was wondering whether this would have been more effective if we didn't really see it. Maybe perhaps we heard it, or maybe saw a shadow or something like that. But I kept wondering whether this would have been more effective if some of this stuff was just not shown. Overall, I thought it was a decent movie. I don't think The Raven's bad, but it has its good points and it has its bad points. So overall, I'm going to give the rating a rented on DVD rating. And feel free to check out our other reviews on this channel, and feel free to leave any comments about the movie if you have seen it. So thank you very much for watching.